Just 2 days ago, I was talking to an investor who was challenged with a very large cash position and nowhere to go. He literally was uncertain about where should he put the money, knowing that it can't stay where it is in such a low producing money market rate. And so real estate was the ideal scenario, but the question became, who do you trust? Because it's not like he's going to be out buying the deal on his own and fixing it and slinging a hammer. And that's the problem I find with most investors. They are really kind of tired of stocks and bonds. They don't trust them as well, but they don't really know where to go. And yet they don't want to miss out on really good returns if they were available. Then you think about real estate and you think, who do I trust? Because I need an operator that really knows what they're doing well. And how do you find that person? So here's what I'd like to suggest to you. VisionWise Capital years ago decided we're not in the business of building boats. We're actually in the business of building a company that builds boats. Let me explain what that means. We have processes in place that are spectacular. We have workers that know exactly what they're doing. They're significantly trained in their trade. And we have 47 of those tradesmen ready to go and launch on every product that we buy. When we buy an apartment building, from top to bottom, we know exactly what we need to do before we close escrow. And that's why I can walk you through a deal like this to show you how those numbers actually play out. We bought this property in Huntington Beach 2 years ago, and we bought it for $2 million, a 5-unit building. We increased the rent substantially, about 42%. It was pretty significant because it was so underperforming before we bought the building. The owners were absentee, they weren't managing it well, the building was dilapidated. So what we did is we went in and we actually renovated the property in the first 60 to 90 days of ownership. And the tenants, when they saw what we did, they were actually pleased to pay the higher rent that we were then going to charge and stay in the building because they knew that they were paying below market rents all along. Some of those tenants had been there longer than 6 years, and they had children that they didn't now have to move to another school district because they were able to stay where they were in the community they were in and enjoy the benefits of the friendships they had developed. When we came out of that property 1 year and a day later, we sold the property for $2,850,000. That was $850,000 more than we paid for it a year before. So think about the math on this. With a $900,000 down payment and about $300,000 in all-in costs, that $850,000 produced about $550,000 to our investors in a year and a day. That's an amazing return net to them of well over 40%. And I will tell you, we do that repeatedly because we're not just building a boat. We're actually building a company that builds boats. We do it repeatedly because our processes are so strong. That's why it's important for me to say to you, check us out. We're trustworthy and we're good at what we do. Give us a call and be invested in one of these properties where you can get that kind of return for the risk of not having to concern yourself with who the operator is or whether you're going to miss out on some substantial returns.